Hello everyone, welcome to my update US gossip channel. Janelle Brown had always been the quiet storm of the Brown family, the one who kept her head down, built her life, raised her kids, and refused to get tangled in the emotional quicksand that always seemed to swallow Kody whole. But when news broke across the sister wife's fandom that she might not only be dating again but that her mysterious new man had allegedly bought her a home, an entire house, not a condo, not a rental, but a place of her own, fans erupted, critics speculated, and Kody Brown absolutely detonated behind the scenes, setting the stage for the messiest, most chaotic showdown since the Coyote Pass disaster. The rumor started quietly at first, with a blurry photo snapped in North Carolina of Janelle walking out of a sleek black truck with a tall, broad-shouldered man with salt and pepper hair holding the door for her. But by the time that image hit Reddit, TikTok, and 3 Facebook fan groups, the theory had evolved into claims that the man, rumored to be a widowed contractor named Mark whose business worked on eco-friendly tiny homes, had been seeing Janelle for months and had now taken the bold step of purchasing property in her name, something fans interpreted not only as a romantic gesture but as a powerful symbol of how far she'd moved on from the emotional starvation diet that had defined her final years with Kody. Of course, Janelle didn't confirm or deny anything, choosing instead to post her usual upbeat messages about budgeting, gardening, detox, resets, and the joy of a quiet morning coffee, but silence only fueled the wildfire, and soon a viral YouTube channel claimed they had proof, county property documents showing a recently purchased 3-bedroom Craftsman tucked into a wooded corner of Asheville, purchased by M. Malderidge, the same last name that fans claimed belonged to Janelle's alleged new man, and the sister wife's community went into full meltdown mode. But no one melted harder, literally or figuratively, than Kody Brown himself. Sources close to the Brown family said that the moment Kody saw those property screenshots, he spiraled into a familiar cocktail of outrage, jealousy, entitlement, and self-victimization, pacing around the house ranting to Robin about respect, family money, and contractual obligations, insisting he needed to get legal advice immediately because Janelle isn't free to make those kinds of commitments without informing him, which made everyone who heard it wonder whether Kody still believed, in his soul, that he had some kind of lingering authority over his ex-wives or whether he simply panicked at the idea of Janelle finally having a home where his name, influence, and shadow held zero weight. Kody's tantrum apparently reached peak intensity when he called one of the older Brown children demanding to know whether they'd met this Mark guy, whether they thought he was stable, whether he had money, whether he was a gold digger, an accusation so absurd that the older kids allegedly laughed out loud before reminding Kody that he hadn't even visited most of them in months and that the only person who could fairly be called a gold digger was the one who had drained the entire family accounts to build a Flagstaff mansion, forcing everyone else into rentals, basements, and RVs for years, a jab that reportedly sent Kody into such a fury that he hung up mid-sentence. Meanwhile, fans couldn't get enough of the contrast between Janelle's serene happiness and Kody's chaotic meltdown, especially when Janelle posted a photo of a sunset from what many believed was the deck of that rumored new house, an image showing her wrapped in a soft cardigan, hair blown gently by the breeze, with a caption reading, "New beginnings feel peaceful," which fans took as a soft launch confirmation of everything they'd suspected. And although Janelle said nothing about a man, a house, or anything remotely scandalous, the calm confidence in the image made it feel like she was silently telling the world that she had finally built a life that Kody couldn't disrupt, manipulate, or diminish. Meanwhile, Kody's desperation escalated when he reportedly contacted an attorney, yes, an actual attorney, to ask whether he had any legal standing to challenge the purchase of a house connected to one of his ex-wives, arguing that the still unresolved financial threads of the Coyote Pass sale meant Janelle couldn't just run off and accumulate assets without accounting for what she owed him, a statement that allegedly made the attorney pause before gently informing him that Janelle, as a legally single adult woman with no shared marital property, could in fact do whatever she wanted, whenever she wanted, with whomever she wanted, and that the only legal matter still pending between them involved the distribution of funds from a property sale, not the romantic life, real estate choices, or independence of his former partner. But Kody, not one to let logic interfere with his internal narrative, reportedly left the meeting claiming the lawyer had not understood the spiritual dimension of plural marriage, a phrase that made Robin, even Robin, close her eyes and sigh deeply, because even she knew that argument hadn't worked in years. Things only became messier when a TLC producer called Janelle, asking for comment about the house rumors, the man rumors, and the supposed lawsuit threats coming from Kody, and Janelle, in her signature calm tone, simply replied that she wasn't interested in discussing immature behavior and that her energy now was invested in growth, family, and stability. A statement that the producers later said rattled Kody more than anything else because he interpreted the word stability as a direct jab at his chaotic leadership, his failed patriarch narrative, and the scattered mess that had become his personal life. As the rumor gained national traction, with tabloid covers blasting phrases like Janelle's new love buys dream home, and Kody furious, lawyers called. Kody doubled down, reportedly calling Mary for advice, and Mary, who had suffered decades of emotional neglect just like Janelle, allegedly told him that it was time to let go and focus on the relationship he still has left, which sent Kody spiraling again because the relationship he still had left was with Robyn, who suddenly found herself in the awkward position of attempting to calm a man who was jealous, furious, humiliated, and deeply threatened by the idea that one of his ex-wives might actually find happiness without him. But the plot twisted again when the rumored new man, Mark, appeared in a grocery store selfie with a fan, confirming at least that he existed, and fans immediately compared his relaxed smile, grounded appearance, and polite demeanor to Kody's frazzled, tornado-like energy, posting side-by-side comparisons with captions like Janelle upgraded spiritually and financially, and this is what happens when women leave chaos behind. And although no one could confirm whether Mark had actually purchased a house for Janelle, the grocery store photo poured gasoline on an already raging fire, especially because the background of the image included a local Asheville co-op known for its community gardens, something extremely aligned with Janelle's interests. Then came the bombshell. A neighbor near the rumored home posted on TikTok that she had seen a blonde woman who looks just like Janelle Brown walking a dog around the block with a tall man, and fans immediately tied that sighting to the house purchase theory, prompting even larger headlines and even wilder claims, including completely unverified reports that the house had been renovated to include a custom pantry for Janelle's food storage preferences, something so on-brand that fans couldn't help but believe it. With pressure mounting, TLC allegedly urged Janelle to film a segment addressing the rumors, but she refused, saying firmly that her private life was not content, a stance that earned her massive public respect and only made Kody look more unhinged as he continued telling anyone who would listen, friends, producers, distant cousins, grocery store clerks, that he needed to protect family assets and that Janelle's new relationship was suspicious, arguments that collapsed entirely when Christine, glowing, happy, married, and thriving, posted a video laughing about certain people who think they can sue their way back into relevance, which fans instantly interpreted as shade aimed at Kody. The chaos reached its peak when a reporter finally confronted Kody in person, asking on camera whether he was suing Janelle over a house bought by her new boyfriend, and Kody snapped, launching into a 5-minute rant about disloyalty, family betrayal, broken covenants, and being blindsided, before abruptly pivoting into a monologue about how plural marriage had been unfairly weaponized against him. And the clip went viral not because of its content but because of how visibly rattled Kody looked, hair wild, tone sharp, ego bruised, while the reporter simply blinked in confusion. Meanwhile, Janelle continued posting peaceful photos, her garden, her tea, her dog, a stack of books, a porch railing that suspiciously resembled the woodwork of the rumored new house, and fans began celebrating her soft life glow while mocking Kody's meltdown, and the more she smiled, the more unbothered she appeared, the angrier he grew, until finally, after days of ranting, pacing, calling lawyers, and arguing with producers, he allegedly told Robyn that he would not be made a fool of, only for Robyn, exhausted, overwhelmed, and tired of cleaning up the emotional mess, to reply that Janelle's happiness was not an attack on him and that he needed to accept that the women he once controlled were now building lives that had nothing to do with him, a statement so direct that it reportedly stunned Kody into silence. By the end of the week, even fans who didn't believe the house rumor agreed on one thing. The reason the story had blown up was because it struck at Kody's deepest fear, not the fear of losing money, not the fear of legal entanglements, but the fear that Janelle, the steady one, the reliable one, the woman who held the family together for years while he chased affection elsewhere, was finally experiencing the stability, peace, romance, and respect he had never been able to give her, and that realization, more than any property purchase or lawsuit threat, was what truly set him off. And as for Janelle? Whether she was dating Mark, whether he bought her a house, or whether the entire rumor was just an internet wildfire, one thing became crystal clear: she was living on her own terms now, financially independent, emotionally grounded, and absolutely uninterested in returning to the chaos of her past, proving once again that when a brown woman walks away from Kody, her life doesn't fall apart, his does, and he will always be the last to know why.